Well, good morning, folks. A great big howdy to everybody. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for allowing me into your homes for a few minutes. I have a follow-up on all the heat-related activities locally, and perhaps some of it is redundant, and forgive me if that's the case, but we'll review what's been going on heat-wise and what we can look ahead to in the next coming days. This is a great impact, and it's very negative on our crops. I have an article that is very current, written by Drew Wilson of the Wilson Times newspaper in Wilson, and this is very current, and this is what he has to say. The heat wave to stick around this week. There's no long-term relief in sight for the hot, dry conditions people in and around Wilson County have seen for more than a week now. Searing temperatures topped 100 degrees with the heat index at 105 to 110 degrees over the previous weekend. We actually had a heat advisory out on Sunday, says James Danko, meteorologist with the National Weather Service in Raleigh. The heat advisory is for heat indices in the 105 to 109 range. So if that did occur yesterday, which was over the weekend, that would have verified the advisory that we had out. We don't keep official records for Wilson, but we do keep them for Raleigh, Danko said. That would be the closest, and recently Raleigh tied its last set of record temperatures at 100 degrees, last set in 1986. So this was a tie in recent days. It looks like we do get a little relief tomorrow, meaning Tuesday, at least from the humidity. The actual air temperature isn't going to change much, but it will be less humid tomorrow, so that will help. So highs in the low to mid 90s, but what it actually feels like will be very close to that as well. But then Wednesday, we are back in the heat again with highs in the upper 90s, and then humidity starts to go up again. And Thursday, humidity is even higher, it looks like, and the heat index around 100 once again. And then by Friday, we start to at least have a little bit of relief with highs in the low 90s, but it looks pretty humid though. So a little relief of the week, but not a lot. Over the weekend, residents found ways to keep cool in the heat. It's too much. It's too much, said Jackie Falk of Wilson, as she brought out a large inflatable pool so the children in her family could cool off on Saturday. It's exhausting. It feels about 150. It's excruciating heat, especially with no shade. Falk said parents have to be creative in situations such as this. They got a little mud bath last time, so we're going to clean it off. We're almost there, she said, before asking her son and 4 nieces and nephews to put on swimsuits as they waited for the pool to fill up. The family had a small plastic pool, but that wasn't going to cut it on a scorching day like last Saturday. They haven't had much use for the big one, but they're going to bring it out today, she said. As the children waited for the pool to fill, U.S. Postal Service postman John Renfro walked up to deliver the mail. Renfro was covered in sweat front and back. It's hot, Renfro said as he hurriedly made deliveries along the city's Route 42, which includes 598 houses and 3 businesses. The U.S. Postal Service Creed says letter carriers won't be kept from their routes because of the weather. Rain, sleet, snow, or hail, nothing will keep us from our appointed journey, Renfro said, paraphrasing the credo. The heat counts too. It's hot, but it's what we get paid to do. So that's just a little bit of an overview of what has happened heat-wise, weather-wise in the last week. Now, how does this impact our crops? Here is a report, a current from the North Carolina Department of Agriculture, and this is what they say. They have sized up our heat conditions and weather conditions as a moderate drought. So with moderate drought conditions, they are present even with the nice rain we received yesterday. This is prevalent across much of the state. The North Carolina Forest Service discourages burning. The NC Forest Service officials are discouraging outdoor burning due to the ongoing dry weather. As hot and dry conditions persist across much of the state, fire danger will be moderate to high across the Piedmont and coastal plain until significant rainfall is received. Outdoor burning and at-home fireworks are discouraged until your area receives substantial soaking rain, said Commissioner of Agriculture Steve Troxler. Fire danger is high. Fuels can ignite quickly, and unintended fires are likely to escape and spread in a hurry. We understand fireworks are a major part of Independence Day celebrations and festivities, and that's why we are encouraging folks to attend professional fireworks display rather than conducting their own. Being diligent and responsible with outdoor fire and fireworks is critical all the time. If a wildfire is caused by your backyard fire or fireworks, you may be subject to law enforcement action. While there is not a state-issued burn ban currently in place, one may be needed if dry conditions worsen or fail to improve. Continue to check for burn bans or fire restrictions in your area. Anytime we are experiencing prolonged dry conditions and increased fire danger, the conversation as to whether or not to implement a burn ban, when to implement it, and where is taking place, said Greg Hicks, Assistant Commissioner for the North Carolina Forest Service. Those conversations have been happening for a while now and will continue to happen as we look at conditions on a day-to-day basis. The North Carolina Forest Service is continuing to monitor conditions. Residents with questions regarding a specific county can contact their North Carolina Forest Service County Ranger's Office, their County Fire Marshal's Office, or local fire department to ensure you are not violating any open burning regulations. Additionally, Troxler and the Agriculture Department continue to monitor crop conditions and agricultural impacts. Agricultural growth conditions continue to deteriorate statewide. Right now, we are in a wait-and-see mode, and all of us need to pray for rain. So that is an understatement, really. Corn has been terrifically affected. Tobacco has been delayed and stunted as we speak, and everything is in a stress. We did get some relief yesterday, and we look forward to some more. A lot of people are looking forward to cookouts and get-togethers over the 4th of July holiday, and along with it come oftentimes a lot of good cuisine. And I'm talking specifically about hamburgers and hot dogs. And I'd like to share a moment or two in tribute to the hamburger. And the hamburger is America's meal on a bun. There is perhaps no more iconic food than the hamburger, a patty of ground beef seared to perfection and then placed on a bakery fresh bun and often covered with a slab of melting cheese, thick slices of onion and juicy tomato, and a delicate bed of iceberg lettuce. It is a dish familiar to people all over the world, but what exactly makes a hamburger a hamburger? The defining elements of this meal on a bun elude easy articulation, a fact reflected in the variety of origin stories that provide different explanations of how it came to be. While most historians agree that the modern American hamburger traces its lineage most directly to the hamburger steak, which is a hearty meal of seasoned minced meat popular in the 19th century Germany, its development from chopped beef in a dish to a tasty on-the-go food complete with toppings and bun can be traced to many different innovators across the United States. Looming large among classic American foods, the hamburger reflects the history of a nation brought together by a respect for tradition, a love of innovation, and a talent for making magic from the practical necessities of life. The hamburger at one time was looked upon and debated, is it a steak or a sandwich? During the Golden Gate International Exposition of 1939, an event meant to celebrate both the completion of the Golden Gate Bridge and the Oakland Bay Bridge and the theme of Pacific Unity, the Treasure Island Catering Company operated several booths primarily selling hamburgers. After paying the sales tax demanded by the state for selling meals, the company sued for a refund, ultimately arguing that hamburgers did not constitute a meal, the specific term used to describe the food products that should be taxed. When the California State Board of Equalization, the government body responsible for levying taxes, appealed the successful suit, the case went to the state Supreme Court. After wrangling over the definition of a meal, the court concluded that a meal not only consists of a larger quantity of food than that which ordinarily comprises a single sandwich, but that it usually consists of a diversified selection of foods which would not be susceptible of consumption in the absence of at least some articles of tableware. In contrast with a meal, a hamburger sandwich, the court asserted, is the type of food frequently offered for sale to and desired by persons who wish to eat something while walking about without tableware. The state board's further argument that the napkins handed out with the hamburgers should count as tableware was also dismissed, since the paper products were specifically intended to make it easier for patrons to walk about with their food. The case was ultimately decided in favor of the catering company, and the hamburger was thereby officially recognized as a sandwich. So that is very intriguing to know. By the early 20th century, the hamburger had become popular as a convenient food enjoyed at fairs. However, around this time, its image began to suffer when health concerns were raised regarding the safety of the U.S. meatpacking industry in general, and ground beef in particular. In 1916, a former short-order cook named Walt Anderson resolved to make the hamburger appealing. After opening his own small diner in Wichita, Kansas, Anderson cooked his meat on a grill directly facing his customers so they could see his sanitary methods for themselves. In addition to salvaging the public's perception of hamburger meat's quality, Anderson also wanted to improve its taste, something he accomplished as he continued to experiment. We may never know who created the first modern American hamburger, but one thing is certain. Today the hamburger is wildly popular from coast to coast and around the world in its most standard form, which often consists of a grilled patty of seasoned ground beef served on a bun and topped with cheese, tomato, pickles, and onions. The hamburger has become a favorite at summer cookouts and restaurants alike, but today the burger can go far beyond the basic beef on a bun formula. Whether you favor a Wisconsin butter burger or a Minnesota Juicy Lucy, whether you eat your hamburger on a pretzel bun or on a brick bun, whether you like yours with a fried egg and gooey cheese or grilled mushrooms and onions, the hamburger remains a beloved symbol of the United States and a tried and true staple of American cuisine. We'll enjoy some of that on the 4th of July, I'm sure. Thank you for allowing me into your homes. Try to stay cool. We have faith that the rains will come and will reverse some of this oppressive heat conditions. It's been an honor to be with you today. I look forward to being with you next week. Have a good week and God bless.